welcome back to another live stream on the TKW Facebook page. My name is Kenny, and thanks for joining us. And once again, we do have severe weather back on the table, folks. You hear correctly. Live severe weather discussion again, because we have a 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale for the storms tomorrow. And of course, we're going to break down everything that you need to know to be prepared, and we'll make sure we take care of you during this live stream. But real quickly, today's video is sponsored by Kyle at Loose Fuse Mazda. He is your go-to Mazda expert, and once again, $500 off all new in-stock vehicles. So make sure to give him a shout out and let him know that Team Kenny Weather sent you. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Okay, should be. Okay, I think we should be good now. I think we should be okay. Can someone let me know if we have audio now? Sorry about that. I don't know why that's not working. Yeah, that should be good. Can you guys hear me okay? Can someone let me know in the chat if the audio's good? Okay, audio's good. Okay. Alrighty, so welcome everybody. How are you guys doing this evening? Glad to see you guys. Sorry about the microphone issue. Don't really know what was going on here, but let's get right into the forecast. So like I was saying to myself, is that we're going to go over tonight's threat because we do have a little bit of storms out there, so wanted to make sure we get that covered. And also, we're going to be talking about the big day because we have a 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Significant severe weather will be possible. Tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds will all be likely tomorrow afternoon. So without further ado, let's get right into what we have outside our window right now. So we do have some storms outside, and we're just gonna not spend too much time on this, but I'm not sure if you guys can see this line on the screen if I play this in motion here, but you can see how on the line we have a dry line, and we do have a couple of storms that are popping up here, and we have to be very somewhat concerned because these do have severe weather potential. We were talking about last night in the live stream, at the cap was the break, we will get these storms, and it looks like it's starting to erode the cap, the warm layer aloft. So we are getting some thunderstorms up near like Jerseyville and near the Madison County area. Currently nothing severe at the moment, but of course we do have to watch them during the live stream. If we're in any of this pink circle that I drew for any potential development of thunderstorms that could be severe. So we'll be monitoring that during the live stream, so you guys don't have to worry about that, but we'll get back to the radar. But some thunderstorms will be possible, especially in the Illinois hours while we're doing the live stream. So if we need to, we'll bring back the radar and we'll make sure we cover that for you. But let's go into the main topic of discussion here. And let's get rid of this. So you can see on the screen, so this is the severe weather outlook for Friday. So Friday, there's a lot of colors on here, so let's break it down here. Let's get this one, and let's get that. So the red out of 5, the red shaded areas basically includes Jefferson County, far Franklin County, all the Potosi area, and we have Monroe, St. Clair, and Madison County, all in a 4 out of 5 on a severe weather scale. And you might be wondering why we have a 4 out of 5. Is it because of the tornadoes? It's because of the wind threat. That is why we mainly have the 4 out of 5, but the tornadoes would be possible. And then we have a small 3 out of 5 on a severe weather scale, and that's going to be going for St. Charles County, western St. Louis County, all Franklin County, and up near the Wood River area and the Jerseyville area. And that's where we can see some scattered severe weather with this system. And then the further you go off to the west, the severe weather limit. So if you're in the Troy area, you are on the 1 out of 5. So you just might want to stay weather aware for severe weather. And of course, if you're in Warrenton, I think the severe weather should be missing you. But I will be on guard just in case we do have severe weather, because we do have 1 out of 5, so we want to make sure that we do have a plan in place if we do have tornado potential. So we're going to get right into the future radar here, because that is what, the most popular question is what time and how bad it's going to be. So let's just break it down for you real quickly. So let me zoom in and get it all good to go. Let's get this moved over here. Okay. Give me 1 second. Alrighty. So we're going to go over the radar. So if you're just tuning in, we are going over what we can expect for the... Yes, tornado. Yeah, no tornado would be nice. But let's just take a look here. The time is a little bit, let me see if I can zoom in just slightly so we can get all the time in there. Okay, there we go. So time is in the very left top hand corner of the screen. This way, one of the directions up there. So that is the time, and we're just going to break it down real quickly. And of course, I'll analyze what you're seeing here as well. So as we go into the night, you can see we do have a couple thunderstorms that will be popping up Thursday night. That should be moving off by 10 p.m. We are not really concerned about that. Now we go into Friday. You can see this is Friday morning, and we're not really seeing anything crazy. Nothing's really happening. But watch to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. You can see around the Springfield area. That's where the storms are basically going to start firing up around 11 o'clock hour. So if you have any morning plans on Friday up to around lunchtime, I think you'll be just okay. So as we go into the afternoon time, you can see we have these small cluster of storms. And I want to mention, once these storms fire up, there's basically no way to stop them. This is a classic summertime setup, so there's a lot of energy, unstable air in the atmosphere, which is really going to make these storms go severe very, very quickly. So we need to make sure we keep that in mind. So thunderstorms are building up, and it looks like we have a little split. Now, this is where I'm most concerned about, because you can see this blob area is going to be the strongest storm potential, and this once again will have the damaging wind threat. This will have the hail threat, and it'll also have tornado being possible with these storms. So around 2 p.m. mark it down in your calendar, because all this right here will have tornado potential. Now I want to make it clear, and I want to be honest with you, that not everybody's going to see a severe storm. This is going to be more like a scattered to isolated threat. So your next door friend over in like Warrenton might not see something, but you in St. Louis County might get a tornado. It's gonna be one of those days where no matter where you are, you need to monitor the weather, because they can fire up anywhere, and where they do fire up, they'll become severe very quickly with little to no warning. So you need to make sure you're on top of it. We will be live as well tomorrow to monitor these storms. So make sure you watch out for the live stream because we'll be keeping you updated with these storms as they fire. Because like I said, you're not going to have a lot of time once these storms fire up because one, they're going to be moving very, very quickly, and two, there's going to be quick tornado potential and severe weather threat as well. So you need to make sure you're staying on guard and tuned into the live stream because it's going to be a very difficult day, especially when they're isolated because they can pop up anywhere and start to cause problems. But let me erase the circle here. Once we get to 3 o'clock, it starts to move in Illinois. This is when we can have the Illinois threat. So around 3 o'clock, they're going to be moving to Illinois. And this is the same exact concerns. We could be having tornado potential, damaging winds, and baseball-sized hail will all be possible with these storms as they move through. Now you can see, once we get to 4 o'clock, most of it is out of the area. So, like I said, this storm system is going to be moving super, super fast. It's not really one that we're used to where it prolongs over a couple hours. It's going to be very quick. It's going to hop in, do its thing, and basically hop right back out. Now, once we get into the evening time, if you're anywhere near the Potosi area, near like Festus and the Monroe County area, you might want to stay a little bit on guard because that's where the storms could potentially form into a line before they start moving off to the east. And that's when we expect the evening time, 5, 6, 7 o'clock, for that to happen. And you can see once we get all the way past 7 o'clock, it'll be way to our south, past Cape Girardeau, Carbondale, places like those. So, like I said, these storms are going to be moving very fast. Going to have little to no warning with these storms as they come through. So, it potentially could be dangerous as far as the storm speed. But in order to have the severe storms, we need them to be discreet. So basically what I'm saying is if we have storms like this where they're by themselves, you can see like the Troy area is not getting it, some of like the Potosi's missing out of it, and near like Jersey's not seeing nothing at the same time. So like I said, it's going to be isolated, but if we do get discrete storms, we will have a tornado potential. So I want to make that clear. If we do have storms by themselves, the tornado potential is going to be a little bit elevated just because of that environment that we're working with. So I do want to make that clear. But if they happen to form a line or they all run together, we will mostly be having a damaging wind and hail threat, which I'll show you in just a second. But the main concern is we need to be paying attention to the sky, keeping an eye to the sky around the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4, and 5. So between 1 and 5 o'clock, we need to be watching the weather, watching the live stream, because anything, I'll be honest, anything can happen with these storms. We could get a tornado, or we could just get a wind and hail threat. It's almost like we have to nowcast when it happens. So just keep that in mind. Nothing to panic about, but it's definitely something that you should be worried about as you're going to sleep tonight, that there is severe weather and all of our area is in a severe weather threat. So not everyone's going to see it, but everybody is under the risk to see severe weather as it comes through. So the tornado potential, Velvet, if you're still watching, it is possible, and unfortunately it has to happen. So real quickly, before I show you a little bit deeper dive, let me just go through the risk for the Friday's event. So thunderstorm risk, always have 5 categories. We have the marginal all the way up to the high risk, and you can see most of the area, you can see around the St. Louis City, Hillsborough, all the way into Randolph County. It just did the update. Let me turn that off. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so the Hillsborough area, the Potosi area, all the way into Monroe, St. Clair, Red Bud, Belleville, Waterloo, you're in that enhanced threat of seeing a potential tornado. So that is a 3 out of 5, basically 3 out of 5 chance that you're going to see a tornado within 25 miles of a point, which is definitely on the elevated, enhanced side of things. Now, everybody else is in a 1 out of 5. But like I said, if the models play out how it shows, and we get a discrete storm coming right through downtown where the warm front is, basically the warm front is going to be moving up near I-70. So basically wherever the warm front is going to be is where we'll see the potential tornadoes. So we do have to be on alert. That's why we do have that slight risk. But don't play it off like it's not going to be that bad, because if it does happen, it could be bad. So I want to make that clear. So even though these risks are not high, it's still something that we need to monitor. So let's go into the other outlooks here. Outlooks as well for the thunderstorm wind gusts of the 80 miles per hour we're going to be expecting. So basically everywhere in the tornado risk, all Jefferson County and the Potosi area, and most of Illinois besides the Jerseyville and Madison and Macoupin counties, will be in a 4 out of 5 of seeing damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour, which that could be a low-end EF0 tornado. So even if we don't have a tornado on the ground, we are still in the category for potential tornado-like winds if you're in the Jefferson County area and most of Illinois. So even though we won't see a tornado, we have to watch the wind potential, because it could be pushing 80 miles per hour due to how fast these storms are moving. So basically want to keep that in mind. A small 3 out of 5 for the wind will be between the St. Charles County, St. Louis County, and Franklin County. That's where we can see some isolated 70 mile per hour wind gusts and maybe 1 or 2 80 plus mile per hour wind gusts. Power outages are going to be more isolated in this area, so not really looking at widespread outages. But if you're anywhere in the red here, you might want to be making sure you have a backup for the power just in case, because it will be likely for a power outage. And then our folks in the Troy area, the Herman and Warrenton area, you guys are a little bit out of the way as far as severe weather goes, but some 60 mile per hour wind gusts could be possible. But like I said, all in this area, especially the red area, not everybody's going to see 80 mile per hour wind gusts. It's going to be isolated, the scattered, so not everybody's going to see it. But we aren't confident exactly where they're going to form. That's something that we'll have to watch in the morning, all the way up to the storms approaching the area, which we'll be covering in the live stream. But don't expect, since you're in like St. Louis City, since you're in Hillsborough, you're in Potosi, you guys are all going to see 80 mile per hour wind gusts. There's a chance that one of you guys may not. So basically want to make that clear that it's not gonna be everybody unless it changes into more of a line. But like I said, I would be prepared for tornado potential, wind, and hail as well. So last thing I want to show you in this area is the wind outlook. Let me do this real quick. I mean the hail outlook. Also, make sure you guys stay all the way through the live stream, because don't want to break it to you, but there is severe weather possible next Tuesday, so we'll cover that as well in this live stream. So when the hail risk, basically everybody is in the hail risk up to baseball size will be possible tomorrow night. So if you have any vehicles that can be parked inside, and if you're at home or if you're at work and you have a parking garage, I will park in the parking garage, because if it's not the wind, if it's not the tornadoes, it's going to be the hail threat. And once again, not everybody's going to see baseball-sized hail, okay? It's where the storms form is where we're going to see the biggest potential, of course. So everybody's in the hail risk for seeing up to baseball-sized hail. Our folks in Warrenton and Troy area are looking near tennis, the golf ball size hail. So hail will be around the area for this system, but the greatest threat for hail is anywhere east of Warrenton and the Troy area for those. So that is a breakdown right there. Hello everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Yes, we do have the severe risk. If you're just tuning in, we do have 4 out of 5 real quickly on the severe weather scale for severe weather, but the 4 out of 5, I want to make it clear, not everybody's going to tell you this, but the 4 out of 5 is for the wind. It's not for the tornadoes, it's for the wind, okay? Because we're going to be seeing potentially some damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. So I want to make that clear because not a lot of people are going to tell you, but the 4 out of 5, don't let it freak you out. It's just for 80 plus mile per hour winds. It's not life-threatening EF5 hurricane type tornadoes. It's for the wind gusts 80 miles per hour. So I will be honest and let you guys know that. But the tornado potential is there, and when we do see one, we could see a strong one or two. So let's go over to the models once again. So we'll go over the timing once again for everybody that's just tuned in. It looks like we do have a couple people tuned in. Karen says, well, I was going to make a trip down home towards Poplar Bluff tomorrow. Looks like I'm going to have to postpone it for a bit. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate your information. You're very welcome. Yeah, I would probably postpone it, especially the further south you get. It's going to be more of a line, so I would just stay put and just make sure to tune into the live stream if you do have to go out. But once again, let's go over the timing, the latest timing that we have here at the studio. It's going to be forming around 1 p.m. near the Rolla area, just west of Potosi, southwest of Sullivan. And that's going to be moving up through the St. Louis area. But you can see how not everybody's getting a storm. You can see the Troy area is not getting nothing. The Warrenton area is not getting nothing. And that's what I mean. Not everybody's going to see a storm. But if we do click on this, don't want to freak you out. We do have a couple things in place, and I like showing this because it really gets a good idea. So the very top, this is, before I get too far in this is called a hodograph. This is basically like a science experiment. It's like we took a piece of cake out of the weather model, and it's showing us like slice by slice of what it's doing at each layer of the atmosphere. So we'll just go through it very quickly so you guys don't get overwhelmed. But on the top right hand corner, basically you're looking for, that's not the good color, but basically you're looking for some curvature with the storms as you go up with height. We're seeing a little bit of spin, nothing too crazy, but there is some spin in the atmosphere that can favor the tornadoes. That's why down here off to the right hand side, you can't see it, but it says tornado tight as a possible hazard. Also, this is your vertical wind profile here. And the vertical wind profile is wind direction at different heights of the atmosphere. So the left side, you have like 3 kilometers, 6 kilometers, 9 kilometers, different heights at the atmosphere. Well, you can see the wind bars are pointing this way, and then as we get up to the atmosphere, it starts pointing to the west. So it does show that we do have some spin as we get up into the atmosphere, which will favor some tornadoes. So that is one thing that we look at as well as we look at one of these photographs. Also, the red and green lines, they are not heart monitors. There are different weather temperatures at different heights as well. And in order to have severe weather, you really need them close together, which you can see that we are fairly close. In the green line, we do have a little bit of sticking out, which means some dry air might be in place, which it'll get eroded. The dry air to prevent storms, it won't do anything. But basically, that's one thing that you need as well, is the red and green lines to be on top of each other or near each other to have severe weather. So we have that checked off. We have our vertical winds of rotating winds at different heights. We have our curvature, which checks off as well. Also, very down at the bottom, our dew point. You need anything over 55 degrees to have severe weather. At this current moment, we're at 69. So we're like 10 degrees above the normal range for the dew point, which will support thunderstorms and severe weather. So we do have that as well. And very down below, your energy, we are through the roof, double of what we should have. So all favors of severe weather are going to be possible with this system. So a lot of photographs are going to be possible, or the holograph is showing that we are going to see some severe weather regardless, unfortunately. Amy says, oh my, work until noon, then drive home. I think you'll be okay. I believe you'll be okay. Because right now, the models were showing a little bit earlier. But luckily the models are showing not too sure how far your commute is. But this is 2 p.m. So everybody that's just tuned in, the main threat, at least at my current concern and analysis of the data that we have, it looks like around 1, 2, 3 will be the peak of severe weather, which will be live for this as well. If you're just tuned in, we'll be live covering this as well. So if you need to watch it at work on your way home, you can definitely pull it up on Facebook and on YouTube as well. We'll be live. But once we get into 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, that will be the Illinois threat. So these storm systems are not going to be out there too long doing some damage. So I think if you have any evening plans, especially north of 44, I think you'll be a-okay. If you have any outdoor plans, 6 to 7, 8 p.m., I think we'll be okay. Might have some clouds, but I think the severe weather threat should be to the south, if not out of our area, by 8, 9 o'clock. Because it will turn into a line, as you can see here, and that's when it starts to scoot off our way. Now, there is a little cheat sheet for everybody just tuned in. There is a thing called updraft helicity, and you can't use this 100%, but you can use it as an ideal. And basically, before I show you, I just want to explain so you know what you're looking at. So basically, updrafts obviously are for like tornadoes, thunderstorms, and this can give us a track of where they think either the tornado can be or the thunderstorm can be as well. Basically, it's more likely tornadoes. So this can get us an idea of what the track could be, of where possible updrafts could be. So let's just take a look. I haven't looked at this, so we're going to look at this together. And so we're going throughout the day. This is 2 p.m. and we have some light colors, so that does look like we do have some development along the area. So that is interesting to note. This is 2 o'clock and not seeing anything dark. So you see how we have all these different tracks that does represent in some cases where tornadoes could form. So you can see they're right over the area, but since they're not as bright as like the colors down to our south, it doesn't look like there's a strong signature that we will definitely see a tornado. But either way, we do have tornado potential, and we have all modes of severe weather will be possible as well, especially the afternoon, beginning, I would say, to be safe, after 12 p.m. So if you're doing anything between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m., I would recommend staying inside and be indoors, and also tuned in to the live stream as well. So that is just one cheat sheet that we use here. This is a good idea of where the potential development could be. But it all depends where the warm front moves up to. But I think most of us will see some type of storm. And I just want to take a look back here at the radar real quick. We do have some storms around the areas. This is a dry line setup. Nothing too crazy. If there's any severe weather, it'll be over the next like 2 hours or so. We're watching it as well. But tonight's threat, I think, will be okay. But let's monitor the weather just in case if we're in the Illinois side. But I'm not really expecting anything too crazy. But we'll check back on that if needed and if anything gets a little bit out of hand. And yes, I do have a lot of tabs open. Don't hate. Mom says I have cop on the top duties tomorrow. Yes. If you're not doing anything tomorrow morning, stop by Dunkin' Donuts. I forget what the address is, but there's going to be cops on top of the roof in the St. Charles City area. So make sure you go support that. We really do appreciate that. Yes, 6 a.m. in the morning will be fine. I do want to let you guys know all the way up into the afternoon time. So the whole morning time, we will be just fine. So if you have any plans in the morning up till about 12 p.m., I think you'll be a-okay. Don't have to be scared or worried. And let me just check this. Yeah. So around 2 p.m. will be the peak. Let's see if we have new data coming in. Let's see how far it goes out. Okay. Yeah, see, this is the newest data for the people that are here. The newest data, this is 12 p.m. So almost shows it a little bit slower. So the afternoons, oh, it's all the Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, it supports the Special Olympics. So if you're going to Dunkin' Donuts, make sure you support that and the Special Olympics. So that will be very nice. But this model, as you're looking at the news data that is coming off, shows a little bit later because the last model run had this at 11 a.m. and this is 12 p.m. So it's a little bit slower. So the whole afternoon time, I will be paying attention to the weather. We'll be posting updates as well on the Facebook page all the way up until we get live. I expect to be live around 1 p.m. So make sure you set your alarms and your calendars and you let all your folks know at 1 p.m. I will be live. I'll also make a little, whatever that is, like a little event so you can like RSVP and you'll get notified when I go live as well. So 1 p.m. I plan to be live, but no later than 2. No later than 2 p.m. So we will definitely be live covering this event. But I want to look at another model here. We're going to look at a different model. And this is going to be a little bit larger in scale, but might just always have to check the models here. And we'll get an idea. Let's get this going. So this model doesn't really have a time frame. So this is Thursday. Let's see, Thursday's already gone. And as we get through Friday, see, this model shows a couple discrete cells. I think, personally, in my opinion, I think this model shows worst case scenario. Because these are discrete supercells. Oh, why is it not showing that? Let me see. Technical difficulties. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's showing that. Let's see. Oh, probably because of this. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, so back to class, everybody. This model basically here, this is another model that we use to forecast. This kind of shows our worst case scenario. And you can see how some of these storms here are discrete. We don't want that. That indicates that we have potential for tornadoes. So if we get storms by themselves like this, it will not be a good day. Now, do I see that happening? Potentially, yes. But I don't think it's going to be like this large of scale, in my honest opinion. But I do think that everybody will have a potential or a shot of seeing severe weather at their location. But I just want to check something real quick. Let's check the holograph. Basically, all of the models do it. And yeah, so the curvature doesn't really look as crazy. And yeah, thunderstorm potential is there. Wind direction does change with height. So it does favor tornadoes with this one. So like I said, we really need to be monitoring the weather tomorrow because it does look like we have a particularly somewhat serious situation with the weather tomorrow. And it's definitely something that you should be concerned about when you go to sleep. Make sure you have ways to get warnings as well on your phone through our live stream as well. Because these storms, like I said, they're going to be moving fast. So we don't have a lot of time to realize, oh, there are storms here. Because by the time we realize, it's going to be out of the area. And then this one shows around the same time as well, the storms move into Illinois and they move off to the east and to the southeast. So basically all the models are starting to slowly get in a line with each other, which is what we want at this stage of the game. Which is very nice. And let's see, we are going to go over the best graphic in the nation. basically what we talked about here. Oh, it doesn't show. Let's see if we can do this. Okay. Alright, lastly here on your screen, before I go over the same thing as an update. So, this is the National Weather Service, and this is their severe threat matrix, basically kind of just telling you what to happen. So, like I said, tomorrow we're not expecting an outbreak of tornadoes, so let's cross that out. But we're not going to get no tornadoes, but maybe just a couple of tornadoes will be possible around the area. But I do want to let you know, if we do get a tornado, we will be on the strong side of EF2+. So want to make sure that's clear that if we get a couple tornadoes right here, they will be on the strong EF2 side. So we will have to pay attention to that. But I don't think we're going to be having the March 14th event where there's like 50 million tornadoes around the area. It's going to be isolated, but the tornado potential, if there is a tornado to drop, we could be looking at some strong EF2+ tornadoes. So make sure you keep that in mind. Don't want to freak you out, but it is a possibility. And next up, we have the hail threat. The hail, in my opinion, is going to be the biggest part of this event, regardless if we get tornadoes or wind, because we're going to be having scattered hail threats. So basically, any storm that forms is more than likely going to have a hail with it, and it's going to be baseball size or larger. So hail damage is a possibility with this system tomorrow. So like I said, if you have a parking garage or a garage or anything that you can do to protect your vehicles, plants, pets, yourself, and anything outside that's fragile, I would probably prepare that either right now or in the morning, because the hail threat is going to be the biggest concern as we go into this system tomorrow. Which baseball sides are larger, so if you haven't catched the foul ball at Busch Stadium, you have a 10 out of 10 chance of catching one tomorrow if you see one of these storms coming through. Then last but not least, we will be having a damaging wind threat. Isolated damaging wind threat will be possible tomorrow as well. And you see here, 80+ mile per hour. That's why we do have that moderate risk in place. Like I said earlier, for the folks that weren't here, the 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale is just for the wind. It's not for the tornadoes. It's for the wind. I want to be honest. That's why it's there. It's not for the tornado potentials, the strong tornado. That's why we had to enhance. The 4 out of 5 upgrade is for the wind, because we can see up towards 80+ mile per hour destructive winds, and that can equal to a low EF0 tornado. Now, we might not have a tornado, but we could have the winds that go up to 80+ mile per hour, and like you see on the graphic, it can blow off roofs and cause damage to trees, power lines, power outages, and it just won't be a good day. So even if we do get a severe storm, we need to be inside, because the damaging winds will be a factor. You'll feel the wind tomorrow as well, and all that unstable air mass. So you'll know the storm is ready to go tomorrow morning as you go out the door. So I do want to let you know, because here at Team Kenny Weather, we're accurate, honest, and reliable. We're going to be honest with you, and we'll let you know that there is a couple things that could change this system, even though we're a day before. So this is the National Weather Service. It's their forecast confidence, but it's almost exactly what I'm going to be saying. But some things that are uncertain is the storm mode. And the storm mode will show you visually here. Let me get this load up here. So one of the things with the storm mode is, I'll show you. But as I'm talking and getting it ready, I'll tell you as we go, a couple of uncertainties, which could be a fail mode, a limiting factor that will help the situation for the severe weather, is that instead of isolated severe storms, I don't think it shows on here very quickly. Yeah. So one of the things that could limit these storms is if we get a line like this. So if all the storms form into a line, it will basically knock out the tornado potential and just say goodbye. So one of the models is showing that, and that is one of the fail modes that can make this more of a wind and hail threat. So I want to let you guys know and be honest with you that this could happen, but the likelihood of that is 40%. So the likelihood of having a fail mode is 40%, where we have a line like this and it's going to be in more of a damaging wind and hail threat as it goes through the area. But that is one thing, but we are expecting discrete supercells, which will have that tornado potential and wind potential, which some of it could be strong to damaging, including power outages. So I wouldn't rule out the power outages. So unfortunately, I know Ameren's not the best, but we will have some power outages around the area. Let's hope it's not us or anybody, but I do want to let you know that there will be power outages possible with that. And also another fail mode. Can't really show you, but I'll draw it. So we're going to be having a warm front. When you have a system like this, you normally have a warm front. Well, in this situation, the warm front like this has to rise up. Has to go this way. So this line is going to start about here, and it's going to rise up towards the St. Louis area like I-70. Now, on the off chance that it doesn't do this, there's two things that could happen, which aka fail mode, is that the line, the dry line where the storms need to be to form near the dry line, could shift a little bit south away from the St. Louis area, which will be a more of a southern Missouri threat, and we will basically have no threat of severe weather at all. Now, I'll be honest with you, the likelihood of that is 10%. I'll just be honest that that's probably not going to happen, but there's also the other factor that the warm front rises up past I-70, and now we have to watch about Lincoln County, Warrenton, and Jerseyville for the severe weather threat. So there's definitely a couple things that could limit the severe weather, but altogether the likelihood of that is 20%. I do think the 70-80% of us, or the situation, is we're going to see severe weather. Hate to break it to you, but we're going to see severe weather. So that is the fail modes. We went over the timing. Do you guys want to see the timing one more time? We went over the timing. We went over the risk outlook. We went over the potential fail modes that could limit this, and the hail risk and what we can expect as well. So if nobody has any questions on that, I do want to bring your attention to everybody that's just tuned in. I do want to bring your attention to that we do have severe weather possible on Tuesday. The severe weather does not stop, folks. And unfortunately, when we get hot like this, it happens. The daytime heating comes through, and that's basically what happens. So it's basically not normal. I mean, it's kind of not normal for this time, but it's a classic summertime setup. So it's basically what I'm saying is that it's not common for the time, but it's something that we're going to be seeing a lot as we go into like June, July, and August. So this is basically going to be kind of the setups that we see. Barry says, oh, hey, Barry, how you doing? Said, let's see timing one more time. Okay. Perfect. So we're going through the timing here. The time is little bitty all the way up at the top left-hand corner, right above my face, somewhere this way, like right there. Somewhere, I don't know where it's at, but you guys see it. So timing, once again, make sure you guys are paying attention. We're going to be doing the timing once again, and then we'll talk about the Tuesday severe weather threat. Just a brief breakdown. So timing, again, once on Friday here we go. So Friday morning will be okay. So if you have any plans out the door or as you're going to work on Friday, there's no concern. Nothing's going to be happening. We're not going to see any rain. We're not going to see any storms as we go through. This is 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And once we get to 11 o'clock, that's where, see, like I talk about, that's where we see our warm front. And that's where we see the storm starting to fire off down near the Raleigh area. This is around 11 p.m. And as we go into 12, 1 o'clock. Oh, wait, this is not the right one. Hold up. Sorry. I don't like that one. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Redo. Okay. So once we go to 1 o'clock, so the morning is still going to be okay. Once we go to 1 o'clock, we'll have the storms off to our southwest. We should be live by this time. If not, we'll be live by 2 p.m. But we'll hopefully be live by this time. But storms will be firing off to the southwest, and these will quickly become severe. So they might be riding up I-44 with a severe thunderstorm warning tagged already on it. So that's one thing that we have to keep in mind as well. Now we go through 2 o'clock. That's when they're going to get more scattered. That's when everybody will see a chance of severe storms. And that's when the tornado potential will ramp up. The damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. And the hail threat, the baseball size, will all be possible. And we did a sounding earlier. Basically a look inside of it. And this shows... Let me just get this real quick. This shows right here a potential tornado moving right through the area, going through around the 2 o'clock hour. So the tornado potential will be on the rise as these storms get closer. And these storms will be severe because everything's in place for severe weather. And as we go through 3 o'clock, it shifts into Illinois. Like I said before, it's going to be very fast. It's not going to stick around a long time. It's not going to be hours on end for the severe weather event. It's going to move in and it's going to move out fairly quickly, because you can see 3 p.m. as we go through, it's going to start to shift the Illinois side. And I want to let you guys know that these storms will still be severe, okay? They will still be severe. Tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail. But look at this. Once we get into 4 or 5 o'clock, it moves out. So if you happen to be leaving around the evening time, make sure you tune into the live stream, because of course the day of, the times can always change just an hour or two. So make sure you're tuned into the live stream and make sure you're staying up to date. But once it gets into the evening time, most of the area, according to the data that we have here, is showing that we should be cleared out by then. But down near the Potosi area and southern Jefferson County and southern Monroe County near the Redbud area, I would stay on alert just for some possible redevelopment of some severe storms that will still have the tornado, wind, and hail potential. And by the time we get to 7 to 8 o'clock, it'll be all the way down near Cape Girardeau. So that is the timing. So the main threat, in my opinion, is about 12 p.m. all the way till about 4 to 5 o'clock. Be safe. So we will be live most likely between 1 to 2. We'll post it after this so you can hop in, save it. But mark your calendars, mark your phone alarm for 1 p.m., 2 p.m. to check Team Kenny Weather's live stream, so you can be ahead of the storm, and we'll have ad-free nonsense coverage. So that is the case. But like I said, this is going to move in very quickly and move out very quickly. So I think any late evening Friday plans, I think we should be okay. Unless you're going down south, I highly don't recommend. But if you have some late Friday evening plans, I know there's a couple fairs that people ask me about late that are starting like 6 p.m., 8 p.m. Probably just to be safe, I would go around 7 p.m., but I think we should be able to get those in. So if you have any plans roughly after 7 p.m., I think we'll be just fine. But that is the severe weather threat for tomorrow. And of course, we'll be posting updates first thing in the morning with the newest data, the newest timing as well. So in the morning as you go to work, make sure you stop on by the page or while you're at work to get the updated timing. And then, of course, we'll be here providing the live severe weather coverage while you're at work, while you're at home, or wherever you might be. So, real quickly, I do want to let you guys know, if I can pull it up correctly. Let's get this. Okay, we'll just go here. So, want to let you know that after tomorrow's threat, we have a couple days break. This is very early, so I'm not going to really go too much detail in this. But it doesn't stop after it doesn't stop after tomorrow. We have another chance of severe weather, and unfortunately we are already in a 1 out of 5 of severe weather, and this is for Tuesday. And early look at the models, it looks a little bit nasty, but once again, it's Thursday going into Friday. We still have a couple days till we get to Tuesday, but I want to let you guys know, of course we'll be providing more updates, but just want to let you guys know early that severe weather will be not only possible tomorrow, but early next week on Tuesday as another front moves through, with all hazards being likely, unfortunately. But Storm Prediction Center has already issued a 1 out of 5 of severe weather. They are slightly confident that we'll be seeing severe weather on Tuesday. So it's just the kind of pattern that we're getting into. The temperatures are warming up. We're slowly transitioning into summer. So we're going to start seeing the severe weather potentials ramp up with the heating and the environment that we have with the warm temperature. So I would just say, as we go into the summer months, severe weather is going to be ramping up. But of course, we'll be here with you all summer long, providing you live streams, updates, and everything they need to know to keep you ahead of the storm. So we'll be with you all summer long to make sure you're not scared. Let's see. What's your honest opinion about tomorrow? Do you think it's actually going to be bad? And are you concerned about tomorrow? Okay. Well, I kind of gave my honest opinion already, but John says it's raining DeSoto. Okay, we'll check that in just a second. So, everybody that's here, honest opinion, we have shown it as well, but honest opinion for the severe weather threat, I think there's a good chance that we will see a tornado. I think there's a highly likelihood that we will see a tornado around the St. Louis area and around our coverage. So Franklin County, Warren County, Lincoln County, everywhere surrounding the St. Louis area and on the Illinois, I think we'll see a tornado possible. But I do believe, in my opinion, that it will be isolated to scatter. So not everywhere will be seeing a storm. So some people may not see, some people will see it, but to be honest with you, no one knows. No one knows where the storms are going to be. So make sure we make that clear. No one is exactly sure where they're going to form. That's why we have such a large risk, just to make sure everybody's included. But am I concerned about this? Yeah, because if we do get the right storm to fire up a discrete storm, we will get something severe. So that is my honest opinion, honest breakdown of the situation. So let's see. I'm getting a lot of text messages to check the radar. So since we went over the severe weather threat, let's go into what's happening right outside the window. Because everybody's like, check the radar, check the radar. DeSoto. I'm not really seeing too much. Nothing concerning, at least. John said he's sending pictures. Okay, I'll wait for that. But basically, this is what you call a dry line. This line of storms here, and you guys are seeing some sprinkles. This is called a dry line. So basically what a dry line is, if you're not familiar, is everything to the east of it, everything out in front of it is warm, humid air. It's unstable, nasty air. It's basically what we felt. Now, if you're behind it, this is all cool air. So the mixing between cool air and basically should we say, stable air and unstable air, you have a dry line of where storms will have the mixing compound and it'll fire up storms like we see here. So that's what a dry line is if you're not familiar. It's just a mixing between, mixing of unstable air and stable air. And it basically forms a line like this, and anything out in front of it forms a storm, gets severe, causes thunderstorms. So that's what that is. So, not really seeing anything too crazy. We did get a new radar program, so hopefully you guys do like that. But around the Godfrey area, just north of Wood River, Bethalto, Bunker Hill, Warden, and Hamel, Edwardsville, seeing some thunderstorms around there. Luckily, there's nothing severe as well, so not really seeing too much. But yeah, what you're seeing outside your window, all the clouds, that is the dry line. And I want to see if the dry line has moved, because it also brings cooler temperatures. So let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Not really noticeable yet, but you can kind of see the temperature drop off with that dry line moving through. So that's kind of cool to see. So, but I'm not really seeing anything too much. Not seeing anything severe. Not seeing anything crazy or concerning. So that is great news. Because there is a severe weather threat, but we do have the cap in place, which is limiting these storms to form. Oh, and the radar, okay, the radar updated. Okay, never mind. Okay, forget what I said. The radar decided to update. Yes, so we are seeing thunderstorms out there near DeSoto area. So we did get some storms to fire up. All these are breaking the cap right now. Not sure why the radar program did not update. But let's see if that... No, not working. Let's see. Let's try this. Oh, okay. I think I got it. No. Sorry, everybody. I was trying to see if something worked. But basically, yes, there is some thunderstorms that are moving off to the Illinois side. These do have a chance to be severe. So, but I'm not really seeing anything now. But like I said, the severe threat for tomorrow will be in the afternoon time. But yes, some thunderstorms would be possible, especially around the Potosi area. It's looking pretty crazy. So, not seeing anything severe, but these are going to keep on moving off to the east. And they will have the potential to get severe, but nothing in the line that we see on the radar here is currently severe. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Okay. Yeah, not sure why that screen is not working, but we do have, let's go to this one, or let's see. Oh, that looks a little bit crazy. But yes, we do have storms around the area. The line of storms, these could be severe. John said picture when it's sent. Not sure. If you could try tagging me, see if that works. But like I said, these storms are not severe. They could be severe, which we have to watch out. But I'm not seeing anything concerning at all. But this is what we call, if you guys are not familiar, this is what we call when the cap breaks. So that warm air as storms rise, basically the storms are going above the warm air. And it's basically taking this out. So that's what we're seeing here. But once they get into this area, they can be severe. So we're just monitoring just a little bit. Not too long we're going to be here. But we're just monitoring just in case we do see something. But does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns about tomorrow, or any questions, want to see the timing, let me know. I'll be more than happy to. Okay, here we go. make it a little bit more professional. So yeah, it looks like we do have these storms. Nothing too crazy going on. Radar's updating a little bit slow. But you can see they're definitely building in some intensity, which will be something to watch as they go into like the Waterloo, Millstadt, Belleville, Muscuda, O'Fallon, Lebanon, Highland, places like those. Probably want to be on the lookout for some severe weather development. But I think at this point of the game, I think it's very low. Very low severe weather. But yeah, not really seeing anything. Couple storms look interesting, but not really seeing too much. Not really seeing anything too concerning. Yes, the wind. Hey, Vicky, where are you exactly located? Like a general area. But the wind is going to be... The wind, Vicky, as well, is going to be blown around before the storm. So in the morning, it's going to be windy. Almost just like how it is today. It's going to be gusting up to 25 miles per hour, which will help the wind risk be as severe as it is. But the wind is possible to be damaging. The Arnold area, yes. Let's see. Arnold. Get this right here. Hold on 1 second. But you are correct, Vicky. The wind is very concerning because not only is it concerning, but it can provide low EF0 tornadoes. So, like I said, even if we don't have basically if we don't have any tornadoes, the winds could be strong enough to provide some tornado-like damage. So let's get this going. Let's get this. Guys are seeing a little bit behind the scenes here. But that is why they did upgrade to a 4 out of 5. And it looks like, yes, or the hail risk, we're in significant hail. Everybody is. Significant hail for baseball sides. Basically, if we don't get a tornado tomorrow, we're going to get hail and wind. I'll be honest there. But look at the wind risk. You see this? Here's approximately Arnold around here. This is, I think, like 45. This is basically almost 80% chance in this area. Or let's go here. Basically, in this area, in the pink, this is almost considered like 80% chance that we will be seeing a gust up to 80 miles per hour. So like I said, power outages will be possible, especially here in the Potosi, the Festus, and near the Waterloo, Belleville, Highland, Muscuda, places like those. So, like I said, if it's not the wind, if it's not the tornadoes, it's the wind. So, we want to make sure we are away from windows, at work, at home, and we probably shouldn't be driving when we do have the storms. But, like I said, not everybody's going to see 80 mile per hour wind gusts. It might just be like the Potosi area. It might just be the Festus area. Arnold might not see nothing. So it's going to be isolate the scatter. So that's why make sure tune into the live stream 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. tomorrow. Of course, we'll let you know as well. And we'll make sure we'll keep you updated. And it looks like we just got lightning detected. Yeah. Just going back to the radar real quickly. Vicky, you said it should be all over with by 7 p.m. tomorrow. Yes. 7 p.m. tomorrow, I do believe it will be out of the area. Or I feel confident that it'll be out of the area. And if anybody that's here, we're having a last minute, you guys are going to see the fresh data anybody that's still here. But yes, by 7 p.m., I think we should all be in the clear. But we do have new data rolling in. Couple hours. Kathy says, what does the orange-red area mean? I believe you're speaking of the... I believe you're talking about like the outlook. Okay, while we let that load, let me pull this up real quickly for you. That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. All right. So let's get this going. Just wait for it to load. Sorry about the wait. Can I get you some ice water while we wait? Okay, well, here we go. Alrighty, so real quickly. Oh, you're very welcome, Vicky. No problem. And yes, we'll be here tomorrow as well, so don't be scared. We'll be with you. We'll make sure you're okay, and we'll let you know if you need to take shelter and what the storms are doing. So you guys will be just fine. Don't panic. But Kathy, here we go. So the red here is a moderate risk. So basically means 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale. Basically means out of the severity, it's a 4 out of 5 chances of seeing significant severe weather. And it's also known, once you get the 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, it basically means that you have a scattered severe threat. So basically, if storms form, you're going to see severe weather if you're in a 4 out of 5. So if you're in the red, it means you're going to see severe weather. The orange is enhanced, which means that a couple storms that form will most likely be severe, but we probably won't see like a strong tornado, or we won't see like damaging winds 80 mile per hour, maybe 60, 70 mile per hour winds. So that one's like the middleman. That's like we will see severe storms, but only a couple. So that's what the orange means. And then the yellow means is a 2 out of 5, and that means a slight risk of severe weather. That means that we need to start looking out because the storms have potential to be severe, but it's only just going to be like 1 or 2 that could be severe, but it's mainly just going to be wind and hail and maybe an isolated tornado. It's what the 2 out of 5 means on the severe weather scale. And then once you get towards the 1 and 0, that means that there's a potential of severe weather, but it's very unlikely. It means that there's a chance, but we're really not too concerned or anywhere that we should really panic. But once you get to like the 4 out of 5 and 5 out of 5, that's when we're guaranteed to see severe weather. And in order to get like a moderate risk of 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5, you at least need to be having a threat for significant tornadoes, significant hail, or significant wind. So anytime that you see a 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 5, out those 3 categories, we're going to be either seeing significant wind, significant hail, significant tornadoes, or all 3 is what basically how they categorize the risk. So sometimes when you see out of 4 out of 5, it might be for the tornadoes. But in this case, it's a 4 out of 5 of seeing significant, really significant severe weather is because of the damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. That categorizes as significant. So hopefully that explained it. Hopefully it wasn't too complicated. And I hope you learned something off of that. But that's basically what all the threat risk means. So now when you see the risk, you know what to expect and get a rough idea of what kind of severe weather we're looking at, if that makes sense. So let me just see real quickly. We're going to hop off in just a couple moments time, but I want to see how far the future radar has gotten. Okay, it hasn't gotten too far. So, but it looks like the newest data that's rolling in is still showing that we do have all the morning time. We're guaranteed at least till what this model says 9 a.m. for severe weather free. So the morning time will be good. The afternoon time will be on live, and we'll be taking care of you as the storms roll in. So does anybody have any last final questions? If not, I think we're going to head off here. We're going to analyze the data. We're going to be posting more updates in the morning, so make sure you're looking out for those. We'll have the live stream scheduled probably for like 1:30 or so. So make sure you set your alarms so you can tune into the live stream. Make sure you guys are prepared. And we'll go live if anything happens or nothing happens. Kathy says, what time do you think it'll start? I think it'll start around 1-ish, 2-ish, but the earliest around noon. So we're currently waiting for the new model data to come in. So that is what we expect. So around 12, 1, 2 p.m., 3, 4 will be the peak. And that's when we think we'll be live as well. Vicky says, thank you. You're very welcome. John says, thanks again. You're welcome. And like I said, we'll post the timing so you guys can like RSVP the event as well, so you can be notified. But I would set an alarm for 12 p.m. to start monitoring my Facebook page and the weather as well. So that would be what I would do, is to set the alarm and make sure you guys are prepared. And lastly, the severe thunderstorms, they're starting to move into the Illinois, but I think the severe weather risk is low. Don't think there's any factor for the rest of the night, so I don't think we'll be staying on for that. But I just wanted to upload till about 12 p.m. I just want to stay on until it gets to 1 p.m., but it's taking its sweet time. So let's see, is this one loading any faster? Some pages load faster than others. So yeah, this one's not loading too quickly. But I know I'm staying on a little bit too long, in my opinion. But yeah, so you can see, it's actually kind of funny. You can see the storms are behind Springfield with this latest model run. So, but alrighty, folks, I think we're gonna head off here. I'm gonna be staying up to wait for this model run to come through, and we'll get the live stream scheduled. So make sure you look out for that, and make sure you share that with your folks. And we'll have we'll be blowing up your post, or blowing up the feed in the morning for the post for the severe weather tomorrow. But the main point, I would say, anytime after noon, set your alarms for 12 o'clock to start monitoring the weather page. About 1 to 2 p.m., I should be coming on live. You'll see my face again. And we'll be taking you through as long as we need it. And once again, we'll be here if something happens or anything happens. And if nothing happens. And I promise you, we won't have ads or any nonsense. So that is what we can expect. Yeah, this one shows it a little bit far south, which will be interesting. So I think I'm going to head off here. Unless you guys want me to stay on and we can look at the new data together. Might be a little bit. But it's up to you. We can look at the data, or I'll probably just head off. Because it's loading a little bit slow. I don't think anything is popping up any faster. Let's see, just checking a couple things. Let's see, hello everybody that's just tuned in. Yeah, so it looks like it's going a little bit slow. Okay. Yes. Okay, so anybody that's still here, we just got the update. I think we're just gonna stay on until it uploads one more time, but you can see the storms are forming out a little bit to the west. Wow. Okay. A little bit stronger. Not really seeing a lot of wind direction change with height as a tornado risk. But that is interesting. So yeah, like I said, 1 o'clock when I hop on live, well, it'll be perfect timing. It looks like. So I'll probably plan the stream if you guys are still here. If you're watching on the replay, 1:30 will be the live stream time. We will be on live. So we'll just wait one more scan. The 2 p.m. Just want to take a peek, and then we'll head out the live. So we'll just be on for another minute or two. This is the newest data coming through. This is the newest data that is being printed out right now about tomorrow's event. And it looks like everything that we talked about in the live stream is working out good. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. So not much has changed, but it does look like we do have some discrete cells popping up. So yes, let's make sure we're weather aware, because the newest data that's coming in doesn't look any better. Doesn't look promising that nothing will happen. So definitely need to activate the live stream tomorrow, no later than 2 p.m. it looks like. So I think we're going to head off. Like I said, set your alarms for about 1:30. We should be on live, if not earlier. And we'll be posting updates all throughout the morning, letting you know everything that's coming in to keep you updated on the storms while you're at work, at home, or wherever you might be. But make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. These storms are going to be moving very, very fast. So make sure you're aware of that. But we're going to head off, analyze this data that's coming in, and we'll see you tomorrow. But till then, have a good night, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow around 1:30, 2 o'clock for a live stream. So see you guys later. Have a good night. Make sure you get good sleep. Don't panic about tomorrow. We'll be here, and I think we'll be all okay. Alrighty, good night everyone. Make sure you guys think about cows jumping over the moon, and we're all going to have a great day at work tomorrow. Alright, till next time. See ya.